Hey guys, today is May 17th. It is a Wednesday, 2017. And I'm here to talk about a new podcast that we're going to release like in 2 weeks or so. 3 weeks maybe? Maybe we'll try to release it before June. But anyway, so I had a meeting with... Okay, first of all, we've talked about this for a while. I've talked about this for a while. You guys listened to me complain or talk about it for a while. And yesterday, I actually got a chance to sit down with Leaguecast Frost, Aidan. He's been on the show. He's been a guest, reoccurring guest on the Lola podcast, as well as one of the hosts of the Leaguecast Podcast. If you guys aren't aware of them, check them out. Pretty good. Oh, and it is sunny. Yeah, so I got a chance to sit down and talk with him. I talked with a few people yesterday, Tyler being one as well. But we got a chance to sit down and talk about 30, 40 minutes about starting this new podcast. We've been talking about it for a while. We've been shooting ideas, and we finally made some progress. Like some forward progress. We've actually sit down and talked about it. So what's going on is, if you guys aren't aware, we're doing a podcast that is breaking down a champion from a high elo player. So it's basically based off this concept of learning from one-trick ponies. If you're not familiar with the term one-trick pony, it's basically a person that plays one character or one champion very, very well, but that's all they can play. That's not exactly what we're doing. You know, we have high elo people that we're going to interview, but they are known for, or they have a ton of experience with a specific champion that they're going to talk about. So one of the biggest things that we're working on right now is the title of the podcast. We're not sure what it's going to be. I put together a large list. Aidan and I had thought about it, and we've narrowed it down to 3. First one being the One Trick Podcast. Nice, simple, easy, smooth, we have is he going to turn? Yeah, he's turning. There's a huge tractor taking up 2 lanes, and I wasn't sure if he was going to turn or not because he doesn't have a freaking blinker. Wow, today's a weird day. Anyways, the One Trick Podcast, there's tricking on the way to the top, which is a bit longer. I think it's probably the least favorite now that I sit on it a bit. So I think there's actually 2. So there's the One Trick Podcast and what a horrible time to be blanking on the other name. Oh, the Master of One. I like both of them. I think they're both really catchy. Master One is kind of a little more clever, I think. The One Trick Podcast is you know what it's about. It's quick and easy as well. The Master of One podcast, I guess that works too. The Master of One, the mop. That's kind of weird. You have the One Trick Podcast, which is the OTP, which I actually like. That comes off the MOP, the OTP. I like the OTP. That sounds really nice. So I'm thinking it's the One Trick Podcast. The Master One's really good too. Just that rolls off the tongue really well. Anyways, so that's the one thing that we're trying to work on right now. We have to get the name done by Saturday, I think. So we'll probably decide maybe tomorrow or that day after. And let's see, what else are we working on? So Aidan has 2 interviews set up. One with a Mordekaiser One Trick and one with a Blitzcrank One Trick. And those are 2 champions that he knows very well because he climbed to Masters playing Blitzcrank with a Mordekaiser One Trick. So he knows Blitzcrank, he knows Mordekaiser. So that's going to be really, really good. Not many people play Mordekaiser. Blitzcrank is a great pick for low elo players. Mordekaiser might not be, but still it'll be really interesting because Mordekaiser is just is a very interesting and situational character champion. So really excited about that one. I reached out to... Seriously, this guy's gonna speed past me? Okay. There's this one streamer a YouTuber that I learned a ton of Zyra from. He was the reason why I got into Zyra. I was always bad at Zyra, and this guy is Melon, and he's a one-trick Zyra player. I asked him to come onto the show. He said he's pretty busy, but maybe he told me to contact him back again in June. So I'll contact him like maybe like June 10th or something like that, and see if he's free then, and we could do the podcast. I want to bring him on, but I think it's gonna be a bi-weekly podcast, which is gonna be super interesting, and I think it's gonna be really cool because we can repurpose the content a lot. I'm really excited for this, and I'm getting a little too hyped because I think it's gonna be really, really good. I think it's gonna be a very good podcast, and I think we're gonna have some some dedicated questions. I think we're gonna spend a lot of time thinking and prepping for the podcast, and because of that, it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be good. Yeah, I'm really, really excited. So anyway, there's also like a Heimerdinger main, Gito or something like that. I might contact him too. We got a Leona main that we could talk to, which is Aoki. I know he contacted me not too long ago about coming onto the podcast, but we haven't been able to set stuff up. So yeah, maybe we'll try to switch it up with roles, especially because it's very easy to find like people that want to talk about the game as a support player. I feel like there's a lot of support players like to talk about the game. So we'll have to branch out with like mid and all those kind of things. See how that goes. I know there's like there's another guy that I follow, Woody Fruity, something like that. He is a Gragas main, really, really good. And I'm not exactly sure what the elo, where we're going to cut off the elo, because we want to get like really high players that have climbed with these champions. And maybe Masters is good enough because, especially for people that are just playing, staying in Masters and Challengers is really, really difficult because it's just a totally different ladder, and that's the ladder where you're trying to get noticed into the LCS, so you need to be playing a ton. And even if you're a Diamond player, you still probably know a ton about it, but I definitely want to get someone that has climbed to at least Masters with the champion. So I don't know what Woody Fruity is, but yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited to try to find all these people and to meet new people. Ooh, excuse me, and branch myself out and doing like more of an interview kind of style podcast. I think we're gonna have good information, and we can repurpose it a lot. Like we can make our own guides based off of their content. We could make it really, really shareable. We could have YouTube content with it too. I think there's a lot that can be done on this podcast. So who knows? Maybe we can get some LCS players that are known for their like Moon would be a really cool person to talk about. Evelyn. Yeah, because his huge climbing champion that he played with was Evelyn. Who else is there? What other one tricks do I know of? What's the guy? Arc Second. He's a huge Diana player. He played in the LCS for like a game or two, I think, during the Team Liquid playoff. I believe that's correct. Was it Team Liquid? Yeah, I think so. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. I'm probably going to post it on SoundCloud because SoundCloud's easy, and I haven't put a podcast on there besides the Weldon Green podcast. So I want to see how that kind of thing works, because I think SoundCloud's really important. It's dirt cheap. It makes it so easy to share online because people can just go into the browser and easily play it versus like a website. And SoundCloud I think it's just so much more friendly. If people don't like your website, that's a problem. SoundCloud, I think people just are familiar with SoundCloud. So got to be working on that. And then even like you can create text stuff. You can take the interview, the podcast, and make a blog, a really good blog, really well thought out blog. Maybe even like a LOL King guide. That'd be really cool. Maybe I could even like make it for them based off of what we talked about. Yeah. So I feel like this is really cool because it could potentially, if it got good enough, like we would have guests asking to be on the show. And I think that's very possible. I think there's enough demand for this kind of content, and I think it's going to be interesting because I want to keep it kind of timeless too, where it's like we can ask questions about, hey, what could change and what does that mean? And then who knows, maybe we could bring on guests, and then we can ask them questions again. And it could be like 5 minutes, like, oh, what happened with the patch? Like what changes them with the patch? That would be really cool. We could set up like a 5-minute like thing, like, hey, because I know Melon does that. Because he only plays Zyra. Every patch he'll be like, or he tries to, within the patches he'll be like, okay, what what changes and how does it affect Zyra? Like, okay, there's some mastery changes. How does that affect Zyra? Oh, this itemization, even though we don't build it, other people build it, and that affects Zyra. And I'm like, oh, that's really, really cool. So we could be like a really good resource for people trying to learn a specific champion. I think that's really cool. And I love to provide content and show off different players in the community because I really, really want the League community to grow, especially when it comes to like content creation and educational. Ooh, I just ran over something. Educational stuff. What else is there with the podcast? Yeah, so I think Frost is going to be heading a lot of it. I will be probably doing maybe, we'll see how it goes when it comes to me talking with these players and Frost, because Frost is a Masters. He's Diamond, but he's hit Masters a few times, if not once at least, if not a few times. So it's going to be interesting in how interviews go with him versus how interviews go with me as a person that's not as good as him and not as smart as him at the game. Or not as smart as him probably too. But hopefully, I can bring something, Frost is very charismatic too, which I really appreciate. And just makes him really good as a podcaster. I don't know what makes me so special on this, but I know I can at least put out content and know how to manage things and edit and those kind of things. So really excited about that, and I have the vision and I have the idea, and it's oh man, I'm pumped. I'm so excited for this project. What else does there need to be? Oh, I want to audio edit this podcast a few times, and then maybe I can outsource it, but I think I want to keep it under my own belt. I want to get really good at audio editing and get like a good process going, because I need to really focus on my craft, which is creating podcasts, and part of that is audio editing. So we'll see how that goes. I really need to reallocate my time, see how I could make things better and work more efficiently and productively. So anyway, that's it for this episode. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know some champions you want to see on this podcast. Let me know about people that you think could be on the podcast. If you know, like, hey, there's this Thresh streamer, or there's this one trick Jax main, or whatever like that. So I would love to hear your input. What you think about this? What you think that I'm overlooking? Just let me know your opinions about this one. Oh, what do you think about the title too? So let me know. See you guys.